folks.
Morning. You ready?
This is the Housing Committee and Economic Development Committee. It's Wednesday, January 16th. Councilman Ed Reyes. I'm expecting my colleagues to be here, but if not, this would move forward as a communication from the chair. That being said, we have a few items on the agenda. And, well, Happy New Year, everybody. I'm on a roll here, and I think I'm anxious to go back to your offices. I can see the excitement in your faces. But let's do this. Let's go with, and my Madam Clerk, the City Attorney, CAO, you guys will guide me through this as we get used to each other, as we move on. But my understanding is that we can move on 4 and 5 and essentially move that forward. See no reports, but I do have to ask if there's any public comment on 4 or 5. And do you need to read that in the record?
Yes.
Okay.
Item number 4, scheduled for council January 18, 2013. LAHD report relative to authorization to amend and extend for an additional 1-year period information technology contracts number 120168 with 3DI Incorporated and number 120169 with Rydec Computer Professionals to provide IT support services and related actions. Item number 5, scheduled for council January 16, 2013, motion Reyes and Wesson relative to an amendment to the contract with Restore Neighborhoods LA to increase the amount by $22,700,444,841 for continuation of neighborhood stabilization program activities and related instructions to the controller.
Thank you, sir. We've just been joined by Councilmember Alarcon. We were just covering items 4 and 5 to move forward. You can dispose of those with your support. And that was 4 and 5, right?
Yeah, that was 4 and 5. Sorry.
Okay. Now we can go to item number 1. And I did ask for public comment, didn't see any, so we move forward. So item 1, we have a, one will read that to the record.
Okay. Once again, Michael Keck, CLA's office. Item number 1, communications from the mayor and the City Ethics Commission relative to the appointment of Ms. Monica Torrey to the Industrial Development Authority Board of Directors for the term ending June 30th, 2013. And this item is scheduled for today in council.
Ms. Torrey, I'd like to come on to the
2014.
microphone, and I want to welcome you and thank you for your stepping up and serving the city.
Thank you.
This is a very important authority. And can you just show a bit about yourself and what you would like to contribute to this effort?
I'm originally from Harrisburg, Illinois, which is a very small town. I've been in Los Angeles approximately 10 years. And one of the things I'm really passionate and excited about with the IDA is the opportunity to be a part of a board that creates jobs for the city. Being from a small town that was really underdeveloped, I see the importance of, creating jobs for the city. So I'm really excited about that effort that the board does.
In your 10 years here, what areas are you most familiar with Los Angeles?
I lived in the Valley. I just recently moved to the Mid-Wilshire area. I have friends and family who live in South LA and just various parts of the city. So I am a true Los Angeles resident now.
You have a hand on the pulse in every neighborhood then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, again, this is a very important role, and appreciate your effort in working with us and improving the quality of life in our city. Councilor Alarcon, any questions or observations? A big smile.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So with that, we will recommend you to this Development Authority, and we'll see you in a little while in council.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'll just be a little patient with us when you're up there.
Okay.
It's going to be,
I will. Thank you.
just absorb the energy there.
Okay.
So we will be recommending Ms. Torrey to the board.
Pardon me, Mr. Chair. Could you go back to items 4 and 5 with the disposition again, please, for the record?
Since we will move those forward,
Okay, thank you.
recommend them. Okay, so item number 2. Is there public comment on 1? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, I could read your mind. All right. So item number 1, any public comments? Seeing none, we'll go to item number 2.
Thank you. Item number 2, scheduled for council January 18, 2013, LHD and CAO to report relative to authorization to execute an exclusive negotiation agreement with Thomas Safran and Associates, Inc. for the disposition of the city-owned property located at 960 West 62nd Place in Los Angeles, California.
Would you have a CAO report for the record?
Sir.
Yes.
Jason Killeen, Office of the CEO. As Michael mentioned, the Housing Department is requesting authority to execute an executive negotiation agreement with Thomas Safran and Associates for the disposition of the city-owned property located at 960 West 62nd Place. The E&A is a precursor to the development agreements for the disposition and rehabilitation of the property. Thomas Safran and Associates was selected through an open and competitive request for proposal process. Our office recommends approval of the department's request, and there is no general fund impact.
Okay. Any questions, my colleague? No? All right. Thomas Safran has a strong reputation, has worked in the city with housing development throughout the years, and I've known him for many years and working several projects in my district. Congratulations, Councilor Perry and their staff in making this happen. Anything else you want to add? No? Okay, great. All right, so we can move to approve. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll move to approve. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Next item?
Last item, item number 3, LHD and CAO report relative to authorization to amend and extend for an additional 1-year period, 6 contracts for outreach, education, enrollment, and training for the lead hazard remediation program and related actions. And this item is scheduled for council January 18, 2013.
Good morning.
Good morning, council members. Madeline Rackley with the CAO. As Mr. Keck mentioned, this request before you is a request from the Housing Department to amend 4 contracts for outreach and 2 contracts for training. The terms of the contracts would be amended for 1 year to be from January through December 2013. The 4 outreach contracts would also be amended to include $54,500 each for a total of $218,000 additional dollars. The total then for all 4 contracts for both years would be $418,000. The 2 training contracts are just being extended for their terms. No additional funds are being added. And I might add that the 4 outreach contractors have met or exceeded their contract activity requirements for the past year, for 2012. They will be asked to do the same activities for next year. The 2 training contractors are on call, and the department did not use any of their training resources last year, so no additional money is being added, but they do anticipate having training provided in 2013, which is why we're just extending the term.
So it just rolls over?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why wasn't there a need? Did we have everyone who was experienced in delivering the service? That's why the training dollars were not used?
I'll let Housing Department answer about the timing on the training.
Good morning. My name is Lisette Romero Martinez, and I'm the program manager for the lead hazard remediation grants. For last year, we didn't provide any trainings. What we have done is we have built a partnership with one of the housing, and we haven't done, what we're planning to do this year is actually outreach to the nonprofits and be able to do more housing, some more training on lead for, let's say, for practices, pretty much. That's what we're looking for. And the RRP training. We did provide some RRP training, but it wasn't through our vendors that we have currently. So this new year is going to be, we're planning several trainings, so we're going to be having 4, and we're going to be utilizing them. And one of the main things that we find is that we need someone that's in Spanish, and we did find them. And it took us a while to actually do the RFP for this contracts, and so we were late in starting the contracts.
So, I'm Joe Citizen, right? And I want to have my houses safer for my children because of the lead poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear that we're not either using the training dollars, I come to 2 conclusions. One, we didn't need the training dollars because everyone was already trained, or two, we didn't have activity in helping clean and make our buildings safer because there was no activity. Can you help me in viewing this issue? I mean, what did happen? Did we have people abating and cleaning and making sure we had the lead program in place and functioning,
Yes,
or it didn't?
we do. We actually have another vendor that provides the trainings for the lead-safe workers and the supervisors. And for that training, we did have 15 people attend, and we paid for them. For the RRP training, one of the things that we did is actually work with one of the apartment associations, and they now, every 2 months, they provide the RRP training. So they have taken that on. That's one of the greatest
I'm
partnerships.
sorry, I mean, folks, we have conversations out there, and it's hard to hear, and I appreciate your cooperation. Thank you, go ahead.
So one of the things that we did with this grant, and the main reason why the training dollars were not used, is that we partnered up with the apartment associations. Agla is one of them, and the other one is the one in Long Beach. And what they're doing now is they're providing trainings every month on RRP training. And one of the things that we're trying to figure it out is when they go in and they ask us to pay for it, we will pay for that training. But otherwise, the Agla is actually provided the training. So we didn't really organize any trainings, but this year we are going to be organizing some.
So how many structures did we actually improve?
With the HUD funds or with the training dollars?
Either one.
With the HUD funds, we have done about 280 units, let's say, at this point.
208 units? And within how much time?
This one, we had 3 grants last year, so we did it within a year.
Within a year, and then the other program? You mentioned 2 programs?
With the training money, what we did, instead of having trainings, we actually organized the apartment associations to be able to provide the training directly. So they're doing that. So this year, we actually going to be going into the nonprofits and providing these trainings for them as well. And it will be the RRP trainings.
So through the trainings, do buildings improve?
With the trainings, the buildings don't improve, but what they do improve is the way that they do the work. So we're going to be training day laborers in actually knowing how to do the repairs in a safe way, not to do any unsafe work practices.
So 208 structures in 1 year is what we improved?
Correct.
How many structures do we have out there
We have for
that need
grant,
this attention?
750,000 units that we are actually built pre-1978 that our funds can be used for. So our monies doesn't really go in extended way to do those. That's the reason why we do the outreach and the trainings. And by organizing the apartment associations, we felt that we had a better impact in actually getting more of the grants dollars out.
Is 208 the average number? Do we have a higher number? And I know back in 2001, 2002, my office worked really hard at putting together this lead abatement program. We worked with the county. We organized the whole infrastructure, and it was a lot of work in hopes that we could change how children are so vulnerable. I had parents come to my office. One mom brought me her child who was, for the rest of that child's life, would be affected by the lead poisoning, and the child's brain was affected, and it would be diminished capacities, and a whole bag of medication. So the impacts are real. So in my mind, I thought we would have a higher number. And so I'm not blaming, I'm not accusing, I'm just want to understand what the numbers are like and can they get better?
And that's within 1 year. Over the years, it's been more than 1,400 units that we have made lead safe.
So what are your goals as a program?
One of the goals is actually to be able to extend the lead safe work practices and to be able to have more regulations. At this point, one of the things that we don't have with our program is we can make them make the repairs. We have the program, when we go in and offer it to that residents, many times they don't want it because of we have to provide income, they have to provide that, show that they're low income, and that we have to have the children tested for lead. We have to convince them. But once we know that there's lead, I wish we would have mandated, now you really have to make the repairs or, continue with the program. Many of them decide, you know what, we don't want to participate. And so the units that we do is based on really it's a willingness to do them, that the owners actually comply with renting it with a child and a family with low income, and that they have to not sell the property within 3 years.
I appreciate the challenge that is before you. I know it's very hard. But is there a goal in terms of number of units that you have on an annual basis? Like, what's your goal? Like, what's the highest number that you think you could achieve? Or what is it written in your proposals for a goal?
Correct. Every quarter, we're making 34 units lead safe.
30 to 40?
So within a year, we'll have 100 and, I can do my math right now.
Okay.
So units lead safe. But with the program, just making the units one at a time, that's one of the issues that we have.
Right.
But if we know that there's pre-1978 and now we mandate them to use, let's say, work practices, there's a different story. I know we have SB 460, but we're not really enforcing that. So that's one of the goals we have with the program for the next year.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your hard work. I do know it's very difficult. And in a time of dwindling resources, it's harder to motivate folks to do what they need to do, especially if they're going through their challenges as property owners or managers. But still, I can't lose perspective on the need of the child who is vulnerable if they chew on lead, poisoned items that are laying around on the ground or peeling off the floors or on the walls. And we need to address that, especially in the older parts of the city where lead paint is common. Luckily, it changed after a while, but we still have that challenge. When can I get some kind of an update of when is your next report? I have 6 months left, so I kind of know when I can hear about this and leave knowing that we're making the kind of progress we need to make, given the 10 years we've invested in this effort. Do you have a reporting time? When do you come back to report?
We actually, within housing, we do a report every month, and then we do quarterly reports for HUD. So we have all the numbers that we need in case you provide them.
Provide a report back, and I'm sure, we can get a report back in about 2 months. And that report, can you break it down by council district, geographic areas you've impacted, a number of units that exist versus number of units you've actually were able to make safer? I think from the multiplier effect point of view, how many jobs are you creating?
Okay.
How many structures are safer? And if there are any cases of children who have been poisoned that you're aware of?
Yes.
I think this is an issue that people don't like to talk about, but it's very real. Okay. Councilmember, any questions or observations? Oh, all right.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, and I hope you take this conversation in the best light. Okay, all right. Okay, any public comment on this item? Hey, I'm learning, guys. You're training me well. I can tell by the look. So what item was this?
That was item number 3, sir.
Okay, so what's left?
That is it. You have gone through all the items on the agenda.
Should my whole day be this quick? Yes, it's approve and move the CO report on both 2 and 3?
Oh, Councilmember, would you like to move that the recommendations be amended to require LAHD to report back in 60 days as you requested?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for that. All right. All right, that concludes this meeting. Councilmember, you, nothing? Real good? All right, look at that. That's great. All right, anybody here for general public comment? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.